Somebody please slap some sense into this mom. Because her kid scored a 59 on a test, she punished herself by going to a cliff to knit a scarf. But then the woman got completely hooked. She kept knitting for 2.5 years straight, and the scarf got so long it could wrap her kid up like a mummy. Still, she had no intention of cutting it off. Instead, she just added more yarn and kept right on going. What she didn't realize was that danger was creeping up on her. After who knows how long, more and more of the scarf was hanging off the cliff, getting heavier and heavier. When she saw the scarf being pulled down by gravity, instead of stopping, she decided to duke it out with it. She was determined to prove she was stronger than the weight of the scarf. Anyone who's studied physics knows this is ridiculous, but clearly, this woman hadn't. She even moved closer to the edge of the cliff to keep up with the scarf's descent. As the scarf slowly dropped, all she could focus on was her knitting. But what awaited her was a cliff diving finale. When the last section of the scarf fell over the edge, she got yanked right down with it. Luckily, she had some serious skills and managed to hook her foot on the cliff's edge. But her first instinct wasn't to climb back up. Nope, she started knitting even more frantically. Even more absurd, she somehow managed to knit while using her feet to free herself. At that moment, her knitting skills seemed to level up. She was knitting 100 times faster than the scarf was falling. But then the yarn started running out. When she reached for more, there was none left on the ground, and the scarf dropped further down the cliff. She tugged with all her might, but couldn't budge it an inch. Before long, she was being dragged toward the cliff's edge. That's when she noticed her own hair. A wild idea suddenly popped into her head. She started knitting the scarf with her own hair. But how much hair could she possibly have? Soon enough, her hair was nearly all used up too. She got pulled to the ground and remembered the scissors. She desperately jammed her knitting needle into the dirt and crawled toward the scissors. But just when she was 1 millimeter away from reaching them, the needle snapped. The woman's face instantly morphed into that 8th emoji in your phone. You know the one. She plummeted off the cliff at 80 miles per hour. But incredibly, she climbed back up. Turns out in her panic, she'd bitten through her hair with her teeth. Standing at the cliff's edge, shaken to her core, her hands unconsciously started making knitting motions again. That's when it finally hit her. She'd nearly lost her life because she was obsessed with knitting. So she hurled the knitting needles off the cliff and decided never to knit again. The moral of this story? Don't punish yourself because someone else screwed